All right, welcome everyone. Thanks. This is the Jenkins Governance Board meeting. Today is the 11th of November, 2024. We'll talk about upcoming calendar and specific items on the agenda. We've got some news items, action items, community activity, several different projects that are ongoing, and governance topics, and that we'll cover as well. Any other topics that need to be added to the agenda? Let's see, we should probably note who's here and who's not. So we've got Uli here. Okay, great. Thanks. In terms of upcoming calendar then. So the election voting is in progress, started actually November 4. It took me some time to get the addresses extracted and etc. Thanks, Alex, for your guidance. The next weekly release will be coming tomorrow, 2.485. No big surprises there. Next LTS is at the end of November, the 27th. Chris Stern is the release lead. Link to the release checklist is available. And in terms of major events, we've got the Jenkins Contributor Summit coming, 31st of January, and FOSDEM 2025, 1st and 2nd of January. Alyssa's found us a venue for the Contributor Summit, and Bruno is organizing the agenda. Oops, I've put those in the wrong place. Any questions on upcoming calendar items? Okay, then on to others. So upcoming release, 27th of November, then a reminder that the next release will be 2 weeks later than usual, or it will be 6 weeks after the earlier one, because we'll take a 2-week break at the end of the calendar year. On to action items. So I've got the action after an email exchange with the board agreeing to reopen voter registration while voting continues. I'll take care of that later today and do a blog post on it. Any objections from others on the board to that?
No, not at all. I mean, our intention is to cast a net far and wide. So this is very consistent with that intention.
Good, all right. Okay, thank you. And then we had an attribution entries for the downloads page. Basil, anything you want to report there?
No, I don't have an update on that.
Okay, then Kevin, on the retire the Chinese Jenkins site, anything you'd like to report there?
Just waiting for the update center migration to take place. And once all of that's squared away, I'll be able to partner up with Damian and take a look at that configuration.
And I didn't even put the update center migration on community activity. Thank you for the reminder. Maybe we'll take a minute for that one later. Very good. Thank you. Any other items on action items that we need to be aware of? Okay, then on community activity. First, let's talk about the Jenkins content security policy. So Basil, would you like to give a brief overview there?
Sure. We're working our way through adapting plugins to be compatible with a future in which content security policy is enabled more broadly. And we've been sort of concentrating on plugins with more than 10,000 installations. So we're well down that list. We're somewhere in the middle of that range of the plugin spectrum, proposing PRs to different incompatible plugins and getting releases out so that a critical mass of people can prepare for CSP at some future date. I think we're well on track to fix all of the plugins above 10,000 installs by the end of this contract. There may be some time also to get to additional important plugins that are below 10,000 installs as well. And that's really where we are now. We're just sort of going through the list. We're able to make a lot of rapid progress at this stage because most of the plugins that we're working on are fairly widely used. So most of them are relatively decent shape. For example, running with Java 17 already and recent builds and things like that. So that will probably change as we get further down this list and start to work on less widely deployed plugins. So there might be So, basically, I'm predicting that the pace of work will slow down a lot over the next few months. But right now, it's going very quickly, and I think we're well on track to finish all of these 10K install plugins pretty soon. Um, I think we've got PRs proposed for almost all plugins at this point. There might be a few left that we haven't opened a PR for, things like Blue Ocean, which are deprecated anyway. But yeah, for the most part, we're um, going through code review and testing and stuff like that. So I think it's going pretty well so far.
Thank you. Any questions from others directed towards Basel or anything about the CSP project? So Uli, I think you've received pull requests to your plugins. I know I've received pull requests to mine. Alex, I assume any of the plugins you maintain, you may have seen pull requests likewise. Thus far, it's been a very smooth process for me as a plugin maintainer. Thanks, Basel, for the great work.
Yeah, I think this was really helpful because I had some special cases that were not so easy, so I didn't try them on my own. And now I'm really happy that someone with experience made these pull requests, and now I see what to do when I have the same problem again. So this is really helpful.
Yeah, thank you. Well, and special thanks to Alpha Omega for funding this work, and to Yaroslav and to Shlomo for doing the work, and Basel for leading the project. Thanks very, very much. All right, if you'd like to read the actual October report that we submitted as the official report, you can read it in the link here, or there's this blog post. And the blog post tells a very nice story of the work completed in the first 4 weeks. Thanks very much. Next topic then is Spring Security 6. And Basil, I guess this is a good one to go back to you. Anything you want to highlight here on Spring Security 6?
Sure. Well, it's been rolling out more broadly now that it's an LTS. So there were um, a lot more people running this code in the last week than there were previously. But I think it's gone pretty smoothly so far. We found a few people who were using some obscure authentication plugins that needed some help, like reverse proxy authentication and Windows Negotiate SSO. But we've been able to help them and get them blocked pretty easily so far. There's still one plugin I'm aware of that's broken, which is the Jira integration plugin, and I've proposed a PR to fix that. And it's been tested by a user, and its maintainer has acknowledged the request and said that they're going to look into a review and release pretty soon. So that's really the only outstanding issue that I'm aware of, and it's in progress of being fixed. So I think things are rolling out pretty smoothly so far. And hopefully there won't be any further issues after that. So
Excellent. Now, when I was reading the notes, I saw this mention of build failure results analyzer, but I don't actually remember that one. Are my notes here correct that there was a minor thing that needed a...
yeah, that was released.
Okay.
That was released a few weeks back.
Ah, got it. Okay, that's why I don't remember it. It's a long time ago in my world. Okay, got it. Thank you. Any questions on Spring Security Upgrade? Okay, thanks, Kevin, for your work on the upgrade guide. We're getting ready for 479.2. Looking forward to things. Next topic, then, there was recently recorded a TechStrong TV episode with 4 Jenkins maintainers, Basil, Damian DePortal, Chris Stern, and me. And it's available now on the internet. It'll be available. I think they'll be announcing it, sharing it, etc. We'll probably do a blog post for it for Jenkins.io as well. You're welcome to follow the link if you'd like to hear us talking about maintaining Jenkins, what it means to maintain a big project with a lot of history and a lot of interesting compatibility challenges. 30 or 40-minute conversation with Alan Schimmel and Lore LaRusso. And then thanks to Kevin, as primary driver with the technical implementation from Chris Stern, we've now reached 12 months of contributor spotlights. presented. Congratulations. The first contributor spotlight came out in November of 2023. Here we are, November of 2024. And Alex, I think you were actually our first spotlight. So thanks for being here. Great, great, great outcome. Any questions on those topics? Okay, next then. So we've got 9,000. Oh, sorry, did I miss somebody? No. We've got $9,000 available from software in the public interest that's assigned to and dedicated to Jenkins. Last meeting as a board, we approved that we would use it as travel reimbursement for Jenkins Contributor Summit. I have the action item to propose the list of attendees. I'll send that to board members over probably the next week or so. And then we can debate the prioritization, right? Hey, Mark, how did you make those choices? We'll do that discussion. And ultimately, our goal is to use all $9,000 to get people so that they can attend the Contributor Summit 31st of January. Questions on that one? And since we agreed to it last meeting, I don't think there's any surprise there. Great. Okay. Governance board and officer elections. So here the proposal from Oleg, or my proposal to Oleg's concerns that he expressed to the board was, let's reopen voter registration. So I'll submit a blog post today, reopening it. We'll just continue voting, and I'll send the announcement to the user list and the developer list, and we'll continue reviewing and processing registrations as they arrive. Thus far, we're at 36 votes cast for governance board with 74 registered voters. So we're almost at 50%, just 11 days into the election period. So I'm very hopeful. My mental model goal is I'd love for us to reach 80% of votes cast. And I would really love to get us over 100 registered voters. Thanks to reopening registration, it might be possible. Any questions or concerns there? Okay, last point then is the costs. And here, special thanks to the infra team for doing such a good job of gathering the costs and reporting them. So the crucial thing is that we continue to be under budget very nicely, so we're not overrunning our budget on the funding from the Continuous Delivery Foundation. Our target here is to spend less than $5,000 a month of their donation. We continue to do that, and they continue to plan to fund us next year for another $5,000 a month. The Microsoft credits, the $60,000 that Microsoft donated to us, we've run a little hot. And part of that little hot is because we're doing good stuff like Spring Security 6 and like Jenkins CSP. We accept that. We embrace it. So we typically wanted to stay about 10K. We used almost 13K in October, but in November, we're switching to use AWS donation, so we don't see this little bit higher expense as any real problem. DigitalOcean is well under budget, and we've stayed under the CloudBees donation budget. This one actually, in 12 months, we've reduced from 10K plus a month to its current 6K, and we think by December 31, we may have reduced it to as little as 1K. So we're very pleased there. And the sponsored account, the 60K that AWS gave us, has now been doubled to 120K total. The first 60K expires the 31st of January, and the second 60K takes over after that. Questions on finances?
One question about the DigitalOcean funding. Since we are just using $200 a month, we will not reach the 50K within January. Is this a problem?
I don't think so, because what we did was with DigitalOcean, we intentionally we were running to use their full donation, but found it much easier to administer the resources if we switched them onto this Microsoft Azure funded account. So it was intentional that we reduced the DigitalOcean spend. we will again ask them for another 20K donation because we like having them available as a reserve. If, for instance, AWS did not extend the donation beyond, say, mid-2025, we would switch to using DigitalOcean in mid-2025, assuming they renew for the 20K. Does that answer your question, Uli?
Yeah. It's fine.
Yeah, so it's being a sponsored and funded project, we've got to be more cloud portable than most businesses would actually choose to be. Right? Being this cloud portable has some costs for us, but being cloud portable also means we can switch from one vendor to another, one donor to another. Any other questions? All right. Thanks then. We'll call that ourselves done for today. Thanks very, very much.